Coming up next on this edition of In the City. Cannonsburgh Village has a great way for your family to enjoy the holidays in a safe manner. Also, now that the weather has turned cold, local organizations work together to keep the homeless population safe. Plus, an important figure in Murfreesboro's history is honored with a historical marker. And a very destructive beetle has made its way to this part of the United States. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. Cannonsburgh Village finds a way to get into the holiday spirit safely with their drive-through Christmas lights. Come along as we travel to Cannonsburgh to find out more. Good morning, Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White with CityTV, and we're here live again at one of our favorite places, Cannonsburgh Village. And we've got a new exciting event going on out here. This place is going to be dark, but it's going to be lit up with Christmas lights for the first time ever. So tell us about that.
Right. So that's the magic of it, is that this place will come to life with our lights here at Cannonsburgh, and you're able to drive through and really get into the Christmas spirit this year. So this is the first year we're doing this, and we're really excited. And then hopefully we can add to this every year and make this a Murfreesboro tradition.
It's free. We want to make sure to let everyone know, but everyone has been working really hard on this project.
And this year with COVID-19, we've had to kind of think outside the box with some of our larger events, and Cannonsburgh has been a great location to make that happen. And so we're excited that this is just one more thing that we're adding here to Cannonsburgh. We're going to be here the next 3 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the next 3 weekends from 5:30 until 8:30. So the last day that we're going to be here will be December 20th. And the great thing about this is you can come through as many times. You can keep making the loop, or you can come back the next night or the next weekend. So just like you said, if you're out having dinner, you just, want to get in that spirit, come on through. And we're going to be here, and we're going to be open, and it's going to be lit up and beautiful.
Murfreesboro Rescue Mission partners with several local organizations to provide shelter not just on cold nights, but every night now through March 15th. Murfreesboro Rescue Mission, along with several other organizations, have been providing shelter on the coldest nights of the year for many years. This year, there are a few changes.
Normally, it's when it's 32 degrees and below, but what has changed about this year is that now we're offering shelter every night of the week.
Every afternoon, the doors of First Baptist Church downtown open to serve a free hot meal. Doors open for shelter at 7 p.m.
We'll line up at the door at 5:30, and a meal will be served from 5:30 to 6:30. So if anybody that's coming through that needs to eat, that's on the streets, they have a place to eat.
With COVID-19 precautions and a need to make things more convenient, the meal is also served at the church.
Normally this meal would be served at the journey home, but this year, for ease, convenience, we're doing it right here on site.
First Baptist houses men, and down the street at St. Paul's Episcopal Church is the shelter for women, each location taking new precautions to keep everyone safe.
We want to make sure that this is a clean and safe environment. In fact, right behind me, unlike last year, we just had straight cots. Now we have partitions, so anyone coming in is partitioned off from the next person. Each cot is at least 6 feet apart. You're required to wear a mask when you come into the facility. So those are some of the things that have changed this year compared to last year.
Ed Grimes, who's worked in service for over 20 years, says this mission is vital in saving lives.
We know for sure that you will die from freezing temperatures, and so our goal is to, even though it's cold, is to try to keep everybody as safe as possible. That's number one. But we'll bring people in if we have to put them on the floor, just do whatever we have to do. But the main goal is to keep people safe.
The Coldest Nights shelter is open now through March 15th. For more information on how to donate or volunteer, go to murfreesbororescuemission.org or murfreesborocoldpatrol.com. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. The African American Heritage Society of Rutherford County honors the legacy of Mary Ellen Vaughn with a Tennessee historical marker.
The work and dedication.
The African American Heritage Society of Rutherford County honors an important woman in Murfreesboro's history.
Mary Ellen Vaughn. was my neighbor and friend since 1938 to 1953.
Mary Ellen Vaughn's significant impact and legacy is remembered with the Tennessee Historical Marker.
She was really active in the community, and she did whatever she could to make the community for the African Americans to be better.
Vaughn's contributions are numerous. She was a nurse, a journalist with her own paper. She held classes to teach African Americans to read so they could pass literacy exams in order to vote, and much more.
She would go downtown, and we had this was an annual Christmas tree event. She would go downtown around the square and talk to the white merchants and tell them what she was doing for her people. And they were so supportive. They donated gifts for her to have her annual Christmas tree.
There are many stories like this about Vaughn. There are also others the African American Heritage Society hoped to memorialize with more markers in Rutherford County.
We came up with a list of places we felt like was noteworthy of some Tennessee historical markers, because the African Americans, you look in this community, we do not have those markers.
Organizers say these markers are important for the entire community, past, present, and future.
The main thing is we want to preserve our history, research, document, and our history, and just leave it for the generations to come so that they would know.
Those who knew Ms. Vaughn say she was passionate and humble, but that she would be very proud of how far African Americans and women have come, especially in regards to voting.
I know she would have been excited about the fact that we are continuing on. I know she would have been excited about the fact that we are encouraging our voters to vote.
This marker is located at 609 Highland Avenue, where Vaughn's house once stood, and on the street named in her honor. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. The very destructive emerald ash borer beetle came to this country from Asia in 2002. It's taken almost 18 years for it to make it to this part of the country, but unfortunately, it's here.
Well, we're sitting here at Barfield, Krista, and we've kind of determined this is one of the most intensive areas with ash trees, and I know we've worked together quite a bit on this. And so tell me kind of what are we seeing out here at Barfield?
Out here at Barfield, we have a very dense ash population, ash trees pretty much everywhere. So we started noticing this year, especially, and end of last year as well, some of our ash tree crowns had started dying back, and that's one of the first indications that we see when we know that emerald ash borer is here. And so there is obviously a significant danger with trees dying as quickly as they are here, so we got together with Kane and came up with a strategy to manage those.
Yeah, luckily we have a little bit of knowledge ahead of us here with the folks in Michigan, because this was first identified in around 2002 in Michigan. They think it came over in some packing material, some wood from Asia. The emerald ash borer is an Asian pest that came over. They think it had been in Michigan area for quite some time before that 2002, because once it's identified, it takes about 3 to 5 years to start showing signs. And Rutherford County is really on that target because it was put in quarantine in 2015. I think Laverne was the first place that noticed emerald ash borer, and we were quarantined in 2015. And now, 5 years later, right on that 3 to 5 years, we've started seeing, the damage of the emerald ash borer.
So a little bit more about the emerald ash borer is, as Kane said, it's a small insect from Asia. Its life cycle is very short, so it spends about 3 weeks as an adult where it reproduces and lays eggs in the ash bark. The larva then spends its time underneath the very thin layer that's under the bark, which is the living part of the tree, and basically decimates the entire inside of that tree. That's responsible for moving nutrients and water back and forth up and down the tree. So in essence, when you have a mass infestation like this, you have several insects working on one tree at a time, and they're essentially strangling the tree. It's rather sad, really, but that's what we're dealing with. And then that larva emerges the following spring, and the cycle starts all over again.
Yeah, and to add to that, it typically starts in the crown. And so it makes it difficult to identify it right off the bat unless you've got some type of aerial way to view that tree. We're lucky we got a bucket truck, we got a climber that can get up in these trees and take a look at those. But so when you're up in the crown of that tree, where it starts, you'll see the exit wounds from where the adults come out of the tree and at that point feed on it. But it starts in the crown, and by the time you start seeing the effects of EAB down on the lower trunk, typically that tree's pretty much done.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late to save it. Yeah, and so that's why we ask people not to move firewood, because it's just going to progress this quicker than we can really keep up with it. It is a fast-moving thing, and so we just ask that everyone be responsible and don't move your firewood.
So we've been kind of doing like you guys have been doing is figuring out exactly where our ash trees are. We've got a few in the right-of-way. We've got a few on some city properties. Some of the larger, what I call high-value trees, we've been treating them for a few years now. As soon as 2015 rolled around and we were notified, hey, we've got some issues on some EAB, we started treating those trees with an insecticide. And the good thing about that insecticide is it shouldn't be harmful to the beneficials like the bees and so forth due to the timing of the flower of the ash tree in correlation with the treatments of the insecticide. And I know we sat down earlier this year and kind of talked about the task of the Parks Department of, hey, we need to kind of know, where are your ash trees located? Let's start, taking a look at those. Let's kind of grade them. Same thing we're doing. Take a look at the tree. Hey, is it a good tree? Is it worth saving? Do we want to remove it? Because the end game is, as we've talked about, is the majority of our ash trees are going to be gone. And then in the tree world, that's sad because you've only got so many good performing trees for urban settings, and especially being a native tree to this area. People are going to see a lot of what they're going to think are probably healthy trees being cut down. And the way we're judging it is if it's a tree that's already in a state of decline and it's not a high value target, we're going to go ahead and take those down just to be proactive.
Mm. And we've been doing a lot of that in our parks with assistance from Kane and his wonderful team. So when you're, especially here at Barfield, which as I said before, has a very high population of ash trees. And so what we're concerning ourselves with here in this park is the trees that are running alongside of our trails, anything that's beside a building where the very dense and heavy ash limbs have a potential to injure or even, kill someone or cause property damage. So we're focusing on those for removal, and then everything else within our park here is just going to fail on its own. So when you do come out here and you see trees being cut down, just know that we're doing it for your safety.
Well, something else to think about too is they're going to see work zones set up. You're going to see cones. You're going to see signs. Please mind those visual barriers and physical barriers, and understand that they're put up for your safety and for our workers' safety. The last thing we want is somebody to come in and get hurt due to some work we're doing. They're really good at what they do. That's one thing I just can't brag on the street department staff enough is that they're highly trained, they're highly skilled. They do everything they can to keep everybody safe.
The beautiful thing about this park and what I love about it is if you compare it with some of our other natural areas, there are very few invasive species. This is a very healthy habitat, that we have here, and it's 300 acres of pretty solid, healthy habitat, and to have to go in and take all these down, I don't know, it's sad. But.
Well, we have a saying in the street department, we like turning negatives into positives.
Yeah.
So I want to turn that negative into a positive, talking about, yes, we're going to lose a lot of trees, and this is a conversation you and I have had before too, is that you don't have a lot of invasive plant materials and exotics. So this might be an opportunity for some of these other natives to kind of fill in these ash tree areas, because you've got a lot of seed and acorn-bearing trees in here that, that give opportunity for those to thrive.
That is the hope.
I'm reaching.
It's a good reach. It's a good reach. We do have, plenty of hickories to fill in, plenty of oaks to fill in. For homeowners and private property owners, this will be a problem if you do have ash trees in your yard. You want to be mindful of that. And so the best way to figure out if you have emerald ash borers is to figure out if you have ash trees. So there are some very easy ways to identify ash trees. Fortunately, it's one of the few trees that are native here that have opposite branching. And fortunately, the branches are quite blunt and short, whereas most tree limbs have very fine fine twigs. So seeing the opposite branching with the blunt-tipped twigs, especially now while all the leaves are gone, is an excellent way to identify ash trees. Another way is a very distinctive diamond patterned bark. And then with that opposite branching comes an opposite leaf structure as well. You'll see leaflets on compound leaves, 5 to 11 leaflets, similar to a hickory tree, but the hickory trees here have alternate patterns. So the opposite branching and the opposite leaf pattern is going to clue you in that you have an ash tree.
You know, we were talking about damage earlier, and something that really needs to be brought up, especially for the homeowner, is how to understand what EAB damage looks like. You know, they're, like you said, they're a small bug. They've got a D-shaped exit wound. And if you're seeing exit wounds, typically on the lower part of the trunk, it's too late. But some of the ways you can kind of, if you see branches falling out of your ash tree, reach down there and pick them up. You know, take them, look them over real good. If you see exit wounds that are D-shaped and they're about 1/8 of an inch, that's probably EAB. But, you know, if they've got any questions on that, you know, that's another, there's a lot of resources available. You know, the Rutherford County Ag Extension is a good resource for private homeowners. Their phone number is 615-898-7710, and they're handling that at the local level, which our state forestry department's handling the overall emerald ash borer for the state of Tennessee. But, you know, if they've got any questions, they can call our office. I know Kristen's always available too, to answer any questions like that. But if they've got specific private property questions, you know, the state's going to help manage that on private property.
And there are resources for homeowners if you need assistance with getting them down and identifying and all of those things. And there is a plethora of information online. There's emerald ash borer informational websites.
Well, we hope everybody understands that this is just the beginning of emerald ash borer. We've been doing quite a bit of work with the Parks Department trying to get some plans together and a tax strategy, so to speak. But please be understanding when you see us working and be aware that this is just the beginning. As we move forward through this process, the removals and the treatments and the activity you're going to see is going to be intensifying. And we just appreciate your patience. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to us and we'll help you out in any way we can.
That's right. The Parks Department is here for you guys. Just let us know if you have any questions. We'd be happy to help.
If you're looking for an activity that's COVID-friendly, guided hikes with Murfreesboro Parks and Rec is a great way to get outside and enjoy nature safely.
So we're down here.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic started, many of us have sought out new outdoor activities. And lucky for us here in Murfreesboro, there are lots of fun and safe events to choose from. Christina Lipscomb, the Assistant Outdoor Recreation Coordinator for Parks and Rec, leads hikes all throughout the area, recently taking a group to South Cumberland State Park. These hikes range in activity level from beginner to advanced. In fact, there are 2 upcoming hikes scheduled that Lipscomb tells us are perfect for anyone looking to unwind.
They're more like to relax after the year we've had and, you know, enjoy nature and some waterfalls.
At only $8, since transportation isn't provided right now, you can't beat the price. Murfreesboro Parks and Rec also hosts greenway walks, kayaking trips, and much more. Space is limited, so sign up online or by calling the Wilderness Station. For CityTV, Michael Linn White.
With all of us hoping 2021 brings in more positivity, getting in shape is a great way to start. Join us as we highlight a few of SportsCom's exercise instructors.
An exercise class is only as good as its instructor, and here at SportsCom, we believe we have some of the best. Meet Kelly.
I've always done group classes my whole life. I remember going to the YMCA really young, 11, 12 with my parents. And then when I went to MTSU, I taught over there. I taught some Zumba and yoga over there. So that's sort of where I was before here. Anything truly to get my body moving, to sort of get me up on my feet and so I can exercise, I just feel better. My mind feels better, my body feels better.
At SportsCom, we have an exercise class for just about everyone. Whether you want to tone your muscles, relax your mind and body, or just rock out with some friends. Like yoga.
It's very important to stretch your body. Lots of times we don't actually stretch enough. I know a few people who doctors have recommended doing yoga for certain aches that they have. A lot of people, if they have back pain, doctors will recommend doing yoga. A lot of the postures that you're doing, you're strengthening your core muscles too, and you're strengthening your arms and your legs. I think mentally, it can help you sort of relax and rewind, de-stress by stretching, so that way it goes hand in hand with your mental health and your physical health. I always tell people to go at their own pace with their own breath and do their own yoga flow because it's their class. So if something's ever uncomfortable, you don't have to do it. You can do a slightly different version that's still really good and benefiting your core muscles. I really think it's for everyone, even kids. My 3-year-old and I love to do yoga together, and she loves to work on the poses and stretch, and I think it's a good lesson for her to, just a reminder to keep moving and stay active.
Meet Marianne.
I started my fitness career back in Hungary in 2002. I started as a student and became a group fitness instructor, a personal trainer, and when I moved to the States, I started in DC in a small dance studio as a TRX instructor, and that's when I fell in love with that style, when you have to use your own body weight, when you have to basically build up everything from zero. I love helping people. I love helping them achieve their goals, even if it's lowering your blood pressure, losing weight, just being overall, release the stress, what you have to go through throughout the day. So that's when I decided I want to add on more to fitness, so I became a health and life coach. So that's me.
At Sportscom, we have an exercise class for just about everyone. Whether you want to tone your muscles, relax your mind and body, or just rock out with some friends. Like Functionally Fit.
We're gonna do upper, lower, and core. We're gonna do a little bit of mobility, a little bit of balancing. So we're gonna use our body weight, we're gonna use weights. Doesn't matter how old you are, if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, if you're an advanced, I can always modify it for you, make it easier or harder. And it's up to you how much you wanna push yourself. If I see you're just slacking or you don't wanna push yourself, I'm definitely gonna be there to push you. For me, it's complete satisfaction. I love to see when people are happy, when they're careless and free, and they love their own self and their body. And that's something I want to teach everybody, because sometimes we think so little about ourselves. So you throughout the class see how much you can do. And your goal is to love yourself. Your goal is to treat yourself, because that's how you can grow. So you have to love everything about yourself, and I'm here to just remind you.
Meet Angelique.
I used to be a lot bigger than I am now. I used to weigh almost about 250 pounds. One day I stumbled into a Zumba class, and I had a lot of fun. I was in the back, and then I worked my way to the front. I ended up becoming an instructor one day, and then I started teaching a lot of different formats, and I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and we're bringing it to the Tennessee area so far. Everyone seems to love it. I didn't know my place before this. I didn't. I never really thought it would be in fitness or anything like that. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't go to college and graduate and get degrees or anything like that. But when I found this fitness, and I found this type of format, and I found this type of connection and community, I found a place to belong, and then to connect, and then to influence, and then to inspire. And it became this big passion and purpose.
At Sportscom, we have an exercise class for just about everyone. Whether you want to tone your muscles, relax your mind and body, or just rock out with some friends. Like Mixed Fit.
In Mixed Fit, the definition is a people-inspired fitness program. It combines explosive dance moves and body weight toning. Explosive just means we go big, we go hard. We like our moves to be, like boot camp, kind of like cheerleader type things. We combine easy to follow hip hop moves with boot camp inspired moves, and you get a total body workout. It's a lot of fun. It feels like boot camp in a club, is what a lot of people like to call it. It's about inspiring people through fitness and bringing community and bringing people together. And so that's what it is. I move around a lot of places, and everywhere I go, I'm trying to create this little tribe, this little mixed tribe, because we're a family, a fitness family, and we like to have fun. You don't feel like you're working out, but you get a good workout.
Get started with an exercise program that fits your lifestyle. You can find a schedule of classes at www.murfreesborotn.gov/parks. For questions, give Allison Davidson a call at 615-895-5040 or email her at adavidson@murfreesborotn.gov.
With the annual Rutherford County Christmas tree lighting event presented by Main Street going virtual this year, CityTV's multimedia producer Michael Nevels put together a great program with singers, dancers, actors, and hosted by our friend Larry Flowers and myself. Of course, CityTV was there for the lighting of the tree with the county mayor and Santa. It premiered December 4th. Here's a highlight.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, Santa! This is Ruthie.
Larry, every year so many people visit our downtown square.
Described as a scene out of Norman Rockwell, this traditional down-home event has helped to keep a small town feel as Murfreesboro continues to grow.
Four calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Bah. Humbug. Merry Christmas. Why, if I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Prepare him room and never need to sing.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The children was all nestled, all snug in their beds.
Look who's here. Look who's here bringing the snow. It's Santa and Mrs. Claus and Ruthie the Elf.
Visit www.murfreesborotn.gov/CityTV schedule for replay dates and times and where to watch on demand. Don't forget, the city's fall leaf collection is still going on through December 31st. Here is some helpful information regarding the collection.
Leaf collection season is underway by the Murfreesboro Streets and Solid Waste Departments. Here are a few tips how you can help in the process. Please keep loose leaves separate from yard waste like brush, debris, and limbs. Only biodegradable paper bags are accepted for those residents who choose to bag their leaves. Place tree limbs and brush parallel to the street. Make sure the debris is in one pile only instead of several piles. Don't place brush longer than 10 feet in length. Don't place brush under low-lying power lines and cable lines to allow room for the boom to work. Don't park a vehicle near the brush pile during daylight hours. Most of the leaf collection season typically ends before the Christmas holidays. Crews will continue picking up bags of leaves through the first or second week of January. Once again, leaf collection season is underway by the Murfreesboro Streets and Solid Waste Department.
The City of Murfreesboro wants to remind property owners to pay city property taxes on time. City property taxes are due by December 31st, 2020 without incurring interest charges for being late. City property tax billings for 2020 were mailed September 30th, 2020.
The City of Murfreesboro would like to remind you your city taxes are due on December 31st. Payments can be made on or before that date without interest for late payment. Taxes paid or postmarked after December 31st will be subject to interest. There are 3 ways you can pay your taxes. You can stop by the tax department on the first floor of City Hall, 111 West Vine Street. You can mail a check to City of Murfreesboro, P.O. Box 1139, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 37133. Or you can view and pay your taxes online at www.murfreesborotntax.com. If you haven't received your city tax notice or have any questions regarding your notice, please contact the tax department at 615-893-5210. Once again, Murfreesboro city taxes must be paid by December 31st to avoid interest.
The Murfreesboro Solid Waste Department holiday garbage pickup schedule is Thursday, December 24th trash will be picked up Wednesday, December 23rd, and Friday, December 25th trash will be picked up Thursday, December 24th. Also, Murfreesboro City offices will be closed Thursday and Friday, December 24th and 25th in observance of the Christmas holiday and Friday, January 1st, 2021 in observance of the New Year holiday. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the city of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and from all of us here at City TV, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.